I made most of this video yesterday, and since then it's rained persistently, sometimes heavily. There's certainly lots more water coming out of the end of the drain pipe. So I thought I would drill just one more hole to be sure. I changed my mind. I've drilled 2 holes just to make sure I wasn't getting a very localised result. And as you can see, absolutely no puddle in the bottom of that. And as I say, when I planted these nitens and gunnii, it was absolutely brimming right to the top. And the first hole I drilled, look at that, just fabulously rich, loamy soil, nicely moist, ideal growing conditions. Fabulous. So there you have it. Eucalyptus trees absolutely dry up, boggy, wet ground, no matter what time of year it is. Enjoy the rest of the video. A friend, a fellow eucalyptus enthusiast, said that eucalyptus don't dry up the ground. I disagree. All trees drink water. They tend to be larger plants than all the surrounding vegetation, so they absorb more water. And eucalyptus are evergreen, so they're going to continue soaking up and drying up saturated ground all year. Well, look at the roots on this Eucalyptus nitens. But before the non-native species start leaping up and down, check out the roots on this willow. The willow is perhaps 6 meters tall, the nitens around 10. They have to, the eucalyptus especially at this time of year, has to continue to absorb moisture, take up hydration from the ground, so it has to have some impact. When I planted this batch of eucalyptus, by the time it was February, and it was pretty wet, but this summer's been very wet. Anyways, by the time I'd drilled the holes, I used to plant these as polypots and also root drain plugs, though I used a petrol earth auger at the time. By the time I'd drilled the holes, walked to the outhouse and back, perhaps maximum 3 minutes, the holes were brimming. When I planted the plugs, it was like pushing them into a bog. It was just like sodden. And you can probably hear, maybe just about see, the water coming out of one of those drainage pipes. Perhaps a better view from in here somewhere. I can thread my arm through. Okay, so as you can see, dripping, pouring out of the end of that pipe. So it's definitely wet here, and what I thought was one of the nitens blew over in one of the storms early on, so I've been wanting to replace that for a while, and also this round robin bush and these shrubs here. I don't really need any more. I don't think they're doing much good here, so I wanted to fill in here with some more globulus, so a good chance to see just how saturated the ground is. Depending on just how wet this is will determine what eucalyptus variety I plant. Although I have to say the nitens and the gunnii were planting into sodden ground. Okay, that looks to be exactly where the nitens that was blown over was, judging by the rotting root. So I've walked to the polytunnel and back twice, blown out some plugs, popped the plug tray up into the back polytunnels, put away some gear and come back here. So way more time than the last time when I planted these night ends and the holes were soaking. And these holes are just as dry at the bottom as they are at the top. So absolutely eucalyptus dry up saturated ground. And I'm not kidding, these were like brimming right to the top, filled with water. So I'm allowing for the fact that it might not be quite as wet, but it's been a very wet summer and recently we've had a lot of rain. Just going to plant these 4 plugs quickly, and then I've got something else I want to say about artificial drains and drainage and trees and the way that they absorb hydration and moisture from the soil. I actually prefer using the actual soil rather than compost. I think eucalyptus especially really enjoy all the micronutrients in actual soil rather than peat-based compost, which tends to be quite inert. Mixed picture for the globulus that I've planted previously. What I want to speak about is the drainage, and one, what I would term manufactured drain, runs down here. It's a rock drain, so the builder of the property, they've chucked stones, what they call gravel here, kind of 250 centimetre, 75 centimetre chunks of rock, shale, just to break up the soil and improve drainage. This is where I feed the fox now, so hopefully he won't scratch up those globulus that I've just planted. So, moving further down, another drain runs down here, and if it's very dry, then what happens is it drains, as you can see in the inset schematic sketch. It drains the local area, not the surrounding area. So drains, manufactured drains, are very localized, whereas trees enlist the mycorrhizal mycelium network, which stretches, I'll guarantee, all over this property. So not only are the trees drinking where their roots can reach, they're accessing hydration tens of meters away. So this means for a golf course, for instance, if you plant these at the edge of the fairway, they're going to drink evenly from all the fairway. And as you saw from me drilling these holes to plant these globulus plugs, Eucalyptus globulus, there's an even consistency to the dampness. It was no more wet at the bottom of the holes than it was at the top. The farmers around here also dig drains in their fields. It can be very wet. I wonder what the economics, the costs comparisons are between burning all that fossil fuel, using that heavy equipment. In the case of golf courses, the additional plastic, environmentally damaging plastic piping that they have to put in for French drains, and which, as I say, just drain locally. They don't drain evenly like trees do. Thanks a mil for watching. Good luck.